see how it goes. All right. Thanks for the read there. Can we use this or?
No, it's okay. Can you guys hear me? I prefer not to use the mic if that's all right. So I am from Canada. If you hear an accent, I apologize in advance. But I've been in the U.S. for 14 years now, so hopefully I will have lost it, but I have people to listen. So yes, I'm from Esri Redlands, and I work with the development team. So if you guys have questions, feedback, whatever comments, let me know. I am here not only during this session, but also later today at the social, tomorrow morning, whatever. Please, I want to meet with customers and I want to hear your guys' feedback. Fair enough? I should warn you, this is an introductory session. So the intent of this presentation really is to introduce you to the concepts of WebGIS. What does the WebGIS pattern mean? What's the Esri story? If you want to learn more about ArcGIS Online and Portal, this is the session for you. How do all the different product offerings that we have all interconnect? This is the session for you. Okay? I just want to set expectations. If you have any questions at any point in time, put your hand up or just say, hey, Derek, and ask away. I'll do my best to answer the question. If I don't know the answer, which may happen, see me later, or I'll follow up with you and give you my card, and we can follow up. Is that fair enough? It's a big stack, obviously. I'm sure you're familiar with that. So what are we going to cover in this session? We'll talk about the evolution of GIS technology, and then we'll have a whiteboard discussion reviewing the ArcGIS platform. I want to make sure everyone is on the same page moving forward as I talk about the WebGIS pattern and ArcGIS Online. Love Esri. I think it's great. Sometimes I think our marketing story gets too caught up in the buzzwords, and it's not crystal clear for our end users what we're offering. Okay? It's a very cool pattern, and I want to make sure everyone walks away here understanding that. So we'll talk about the WebGIS pattern and how you can have either software as a service or have everything installed on premises. And then I'll hopefully have time to show a quick demo, and then we'll do a summary, and I'll have an open Q&A. Fair enough? So I'm sure you've heard GIS is at a major turning point. Why? It's evolving, right? As you can see, I mean, many of us, I'm sure this is the 25th year of the SCARC conference, and the people started back in the day with mainframes, mini computers, etc., moving on to workstations. I'm sure you've used ArcInfo workstation, and then desktop with ArcView GIS 3. Then in the 90s, we had this thing called ArcIMS, right? Internet mapping server and map objects. And then, ArcSDE geodatabases, ArcGIS desktop, and now we've gone to the cloud and the web. This is not a trend unique to GIS. This is a trend for the entire software industry. And we're just taking GIS technology and moving it onto the next platform. So this new pattern, we started with desktop, we moved to server, now we're in the cloud. And I know some of you are thinking, yes, Derek, I've heard this before, cloud is a big buzzword, online, why do I care? I do my desktop analysis, how can it benefit me? Hopefully after this presentation you'll understand why this is a big deal. Fair enough? We're all still kind of having our coffee and I'm getting these serious looks. Let me know. Okay. So, what do I do with customers? I always make sure everyone is on the same page and understands the different components. You may find, this by the way is not the official marketing story, this is me having a discussion with customers, glorified PowerPoint deck whiteboard. All right? So, I'm sure all of you are using ArcGIS Desktop in some shape or fashion, right? We know it's the component of the ArcGIS system that allows you to create, manage, and edit GIS data. You may use a geodatabase on the back end to store your spatial data. Everyone with me so far? Mm-hmm. All right. Then, of course, we have this product called ArcGIS Server. This is the product that allows you to take your GIS resources from ArcGIS Desktop and you can publish it as a web service. Why is this important? You can take your resources and publish it as a web service so you can share your GIS resources, your maps, your models, etc., to a larger audience, right? And we've had this pattern for several years now. So we can have ArcGIS Desktop consume web services. We can have also web clients consume web services. And we can also have mobile clients consume web services. All right, so again, let me copy these arrows here. Okay. Bear with me, I like to do this. That's why this is not an official slide. This is just me doing a whiteboard session. And I'm sure many of you have seen this kind of pattern implementation before. And just to make sure we're all on the same page, let me go back here. Let me throw some technology boxes in here as well. So for the web, we support 3 different APIs, or application programming interfaces. We support Flex technology, Silverlight, and JavaScript. Coincidentally, you might have heard of something called HTML5. That technology is built into our JavaScript API. Okay? And then for the mobile side, we also have several different technology pieces. We support iOS, so all your Apple devices. We support Android. And we support WinPhone. So far, so good? Yes, Derek. This is all review. I've known this for like ever. I want to learn about WebGIS. I want to make sure everyone understands this common pattern. Desktop is where we create our GIS data, maps, models, etc. We can pull those resources into ArcGIS server, which allows us to take our GIS resources, share it as a web service. These can then be consumed by desktop, web application browsers, and also mobile clients. So far, so good, right? Now we have this thing called ArcGIS Online. This is the buzzword that you keep hearing at all these Esri conferences, and I'm sure I've heard customers tell me, I'm really tired of hearing about ArcGIS Online. What's the big deal? So ArcGIS Online is the online component of the ArcGIS system. It's like GIS on the web. People have said, yeah, it's a fancy looking website, Derek. That's all it is. As you're just trying to sell me a fancy looking website. It is a fancy looking website, but it's actually more than that. I always tell customers it is a map-centric content management system that happens to be on the web. So let me just open up a tab here. ArcGIS Online. Okay. And you know you can go to gallery and browse for content and information. Right? I'm sure you've seen this. We changed the gallery feature now so it pulls data, and you can also search by keywords and tags, and you can also search for different types of data like earth or elevation, etc. All of these could be web services, so raw data layers you access, web maps, web applications. You can also store and upload other things like PDF files, Microsoft Word documents, PowerPoint files. We have a whole laundry list of different types of content that you can store in this map-centric content management system. Now going back to the PowerPoint, so I have online, okay. How does it relate to this existing stack, which many of us are familiar with? Well, I have a couple of options. What I can do first is take a web service. I'm going to change the arrow here from here to here. I can take a web service that I have from my ArcGIS server and register it with ArcGIS Online. What it allows me to do is I can say, well, now people can browse and search for my data. Okay? I mean, let me open up another tab here. How many people here are using ArcGIS Server? A few of you, okay. So this is nothing new. This is ArcGIS Server Manager, right? Great application, excuse me, great application interface for ArcGIS Server. Right, I have a little thumbnail, I have, content information about my services, great. But I'm an administrator. I am never, ever, ever going to let my end users log in here to see this, right? What do my end users see? Well, my end users see this. Ooh, sexy, the services directory. And I click, okay, not this folder, but I click in my demos folder. Oh, I have more links. I click in here, then I click in here, and then I can see the service. Great if you are a developer, lousy if you're an end user. This user experience stinks. That's not efficient. But this wasn't designed for end users. This was designed for web application developers, right? So instead of having this, I can expose all my resources through this, through ArcGIS Online. Everyone with me so far? So it's a nice looking website, but it's more than that. So, going back to the story, I have ArcGIS Online. What else do we have? We have this concept called the web map. And a web map lives inside ArcGIS Online. I'm sure you've seen a classic demo where someone goes into ArcGIS.com, they go to this map view. I'm sure you've seen any kind of Esri demo. Someone drags data here and they add a map and they say, hey, I saved a web map. Everyone with me? Right? A web map is not data. A web map, behind the scenes, is basically a glorified text file stored in the cloud. It's actually written in JSON, and what it does is it stores references to your data. So, going back to this diagram here, I can take my service and register it with the web map, or I could take a service and have it being consumed, by the web map. Let me change the color here. Can you guys see that green? Doesn't look good, right? Can you guys see that red? Red is not supposed to be danger, it's supposed to hide that it's different, that's all. Okay? Okay, so what, Derek? I have this web map. Why does Esri keep hyping the web map? Well, this is important for a couple of reasons. Move these boxes here. This is the stack. Everyone's followed along with the stack, right? If I am a GIS professional, where do I work? I work in ArcGIS Desktop because I need those powerful tools. When my mom wants to make a web map, is she going to use Desktop? No. She will probably use Google Maps, right? Or she could use this, the ArcGIS.com map viewer. We specifically designed it to make it simple and user-friendly, to basically empower the non-GIS expert so that he or she can quickly create a mashup. Everyone with me so far? So that's one key idea here, is that yes, you can be the GIS professional and use Desktop to make data to share as web services, but you could also go into ArcGIS Online with the map viewer and quickly create a web map. You're not making new data, you're making a glorified text file that stores references to data. Why is this important? Because once I have the web map, this happens. Our development lead, Scott Morehouse, said that everything must support the web map. So if I make a web map and I set pop-ups or identifies or other things like that, this happens. In other words, I could have someone who is not a GIS expert. He or she could make a mashup, save a web map, store it in ArcGIS Online, and then that web map, all its behavior, all its display settings, all its content is respected and honored by all the ArcGIS clients. So if I have a web app, it opens up in the Flex Viewer. If I have a web map, it opens up in my ArcGIS for iOS Android application. This is kind of a big deal. I'm sure you get asked by people, I have limited money, but I want to make a piece of data or an application that runs on every single device and every single operating system under budget. Can you do that? Right? And the answer is sort of, right? You can do that by taking your data, specifying it in this web map, and it will open up and be honored by all of these clients up here. Okay, so there's two key ideas. One is you abstract the need to be a GIS professional to use Desktop. You can have a nice, simple user interface to create and save a web map. The other key idea is this. Once I have it in the web map, all of these applications also honor whatever I've set in the web map. That's huge. This is loosely in quotes, again, not the official marketing story, loosely in quotes, like a universal data format. So far, so good? Okay. Yeah, okay, Derek, I'm kind of convinced. I'm talking to myself now. Why else is this cool? Well, whoops, let me change that back, sorry. We have a new division in our development team, and we call them the Location Analytics team. And this is where I wish I had stock in Esri, but we're not a publicly owned company. We support several different platforms. Microsoft Office, so Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint. We support IBM Cognos. We support SharePoint. We support like 8 or 10 other BI platforms. I don't have them all memorized. This division, their job is to bring GIS to the business folks, people who are not GIS experts. But this division follows the same paradigm as the rest of the ArcGIS clients. And what is that paradigm? Well, they have to be able to honor and support web services from ArcGIS Server and the web map. Let's think about this for a second. Okay, I'm a GIS analyst in my organization. I want to share and prove the value of the work that I do to other parts of my organization. Let's say the insurance division. The insurance team or division or whatever they do, they don't know anything about GIS. They don't know nothing about maps. They do know Excel. Right? Everyone is running Microsoft Excel. They could take Microsoft Excel, load the Esri Maps for Office add-in inside Excel, open up a web map that I made, then take their Excel columns and geocode that to the map. Then they can take their geocoded data and push it back into ArcGIS Online to their collaboration and sharing, or take that web map and push it back to ArcGIS Online. Does that make sense? This is where you start to see the power of GIS, where you as the GIS division, team or group, can take your web map, push it out to other departments within your organization. This is why we have this thing called ArcGIS Online for Organizations. Or think about your executive with their iPad or their Microsoft Surface or whatever, their Galaxy tab. They can also all view that web map. This is huge. This means that you can start to promote your work. So far, so good? All right. And now lastly, a lot of our US government federal agencies with three-letter acronyms that are in those spy movies that remain nameless, they love this. But they said to Esri, hey, this is in the cloud. We don't like the cloud. You want to be secure, right? So if you don't like the cloud, which is possible, you can do this. This is supposed to be, that red line's a firewall. That is dangerous, okay? And then here we have this. If I like online, but I don't trust the cloud, I can get it and install it within my own infrastructure, and it's called Portal for ArcGIS, which I'll be talking about this tomorrow. Follows the same paradigm as ArcGIS Online. You store web maps, you can have it accessed from multiple clients, but it's all secured within your infrastructure. You have that option. And just to finish off this slide, this whiteboard, this is not a marketing slide, okay, is we also have some SDKs. So if you're a developer, right, you have something called the runtime SDKs. And again, there's like, I don't know, 10 different programming languages like Java, Qt, .NET, WPF. I can't remember them all. If you're a developer, you can also write custom code, and these will also follow the same paradigm. So far, so good? So, is the web map a big deal? Yes. Am I storing my data in there? No. But no with an asterisk. And sometimes you can store data in there. And I'm going to tell you when. Sorry?
Go ahead.
Okay. Everyone good with this? So this is me having a discussion. I'm showing the lay of the land and how all the different products interact and form the foundation of WebGIS. We're going to go into that pattern next. Are we all good? All right. Okay, so what is a web map? We all know now this is a big deal. This is behind the scenes, a glorified text file written in JSON, stored in the cloud, or in your portal for ArcGIS. Stores references to your data. So I go into the map viewer and I add layers and I start to save things, right? You've all seen that. Anyone seen this slide before? Maybe? This is the Jack user conference slide. I like it. However, I'm not a fan of it. It tends to oversimplify things. And I know marketing people like to say, look, it's easy, 1, 2, 3. I deal with the back-end plumbing all the time. I want to break this slide out and make it more tangible for you guys. That's my job. Now looking at the slide, this is WebGIS. WebGIS is everywhere. Okay, what does that mean? At the top of the slide, we have many different client applications that can consume GIS resources. Could be desktops, web applications, on mobile devices like your smartphones or tablets, right? These client applications can find, search, and consume resources from a portal. Note the lowercase p. So we have this concept of a lowercase portal and a product with an uppercase p portal. Again, I'm not criticizing marketing, this just makes my job hard. This portal has two key components, powered by GIS servers and also data. Is everyone okay with this concept diagram? Right? Applications on top, a portal powered by GIS servers and data. So far so good? Now I like this slide, but I'm a meat and potatoes kind of person, and I'm going to break it down into pieces that I can understand. Right? Now we have GIS servers, right? Software that allows us to take a GIS resource and you share it as a web service. It could be ArcGIS server, it could be something else. So we share web services and data. We also have a portal. Again, note the lowercase p. Some kind of fancy looking website where my applications can go in, search and browse for GIS resources or map information products. For the portal to be useful, I need to have lots of data, right? Ready to use content. And the other thing to be aware of is I can use my portal to control access. Who can see what pieces of data? All of this, of course, is being consumed by applications on top. This is the same slide you just saw, except I made them into more tangible concepts. Everyone with me so far? Not yes, if we are. We're with me so far, right? Okay. So now I'm going to take this slide and I'm going to just reposition some of the squares, okay? I have applications on the left-hand side. Could be desktop, web apps, or mobile clients. GIS servers and ready-to-use content. And applications talk to those GIS servers and ready-to-use content through a lowercase p portal. So far, so good? All right. Now, let's take away the applications, and I can deploy that WebGIS pattern in one of two ways. As a SaaS model, so software as a service, or as software on premises. This is the first of several key slides on what a WebGIS is. So, if I want to, I can choose this option. I can basically enable WebGIS through software as a service. What that means is everything is done through ArcGIS Online, right? I can use the www.arcgis.com website, which is my lowercase portal. You've all seen that, where I log in and I can browse and search for data. I can actually take data from my machine and upload it into the cloud and save it as a hosted service. I'll demo that for you in a bit. And I'm sure many of you grab base maps for your maps in desktop and in your web application. But I can grab services from ArcGIS Online. This is one option. Everything is in the cloud. The pro is there's no overhead for me or my organization. I don't have to update a service pack. I don't have to make sure I've got the latest bug fix. It's all done for me and taken care of by Esri. All in the cloud. That's one option. Another option is this. Well, what if I don't want to use the cloud, and what if I want to deploy it within my own infrastructure? So I'm one of those three-letter government agencies, uber secure, right? I can do this. I can get a product called Portal for ArcGIS. Note the capital P. You guys understand the joke that I had? Okay. Portal for ArcGIS is an extension that comes with ArcGIS Server Advanced. How many people have ArcGIS Server? Right, you're doing this now. You're taking your GIS data, sharing them as web services. And if you can consume base maps from ArcGIS Online, or if you want to be totally off the wire, you can buy a physical hardware server called the ArcGIS Data Appliance, which has all the base maps for you that you can share internally within your network. So you have two choices here. Software as a service or on premises. It's totally up to you. We see two patterns here. How many people think that there's only two patterns? How many people say no, there's more than two patterns? None of you care. Those of you who care don't care, right? These are the two common deployment patterns, but there's a third one. Hybrid. What if I like some stuff up here and I like some stuff down here and I want to mix and match? I can definitely do that. Right? This is one common deployment pattern. I would say, 60–70% of our users, our consumers who are using it, love this. They have their own ArcGIS server. They use base maps from ArcGIS Online, and they want to use their ArcGIS Online organizational account as their front-end, lowercase p, portal. Very popular. How many people, when they view this, believe that they have to store data on the web? Who says yes? Who says no? Again, the rest of you don't care. The people who said no are correct. I can use this deployment model, and at no point in time do I have to store data in the web, on the cloud. That's an urban legend myth. Remember, we're storing web maps in the cloud. It's a glorified text file in JSON. The development team hates it when I call it that. All they do is store references to my data. They don't store data. This is totally secure. I can have all my services and all my data on premises on my physical machines, and it's absolutely secure. That's one option. But if I'm a little bit paranoid, I can do this. We have many large enterprise organizations, oil and gas. They use this option. Right? They have Portal for ArcGIS installed in their own infrastructure, so it's in their internal network. They've hooked it up to their server. They still consume services, base maps from ArcGIS Online. This is also possible. And then, of course, those spy agencies love this. Totally off the wire. So these are your options for deploying WebGIS within your environment. Are we good? We're good for time. Oh, I'm going really good for time. All right, so let's look at ArcGIS Online. Any questions?
How is the data updated with the last slide that you showed there?
Sorry.
If you have the data appliance, how are you getting updated base maps?
Good question. So the question was, if I have this option, how do I get updates to the data appliance? You would get an annual update from Esri.
It's just annual.
As far as I'm aware, yes, but I'll double check that, yes. I'm pretty 90% certain it's annually, but yeah. All right, so let's take a look at how this works, right? You talked about this theory, Derek. I'm all about demos. I'm all about demos. So what are you looking at here? You're in ArcMap. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this. And you're looking at police stations for the city of São Paulo, Brazil. I just happen to have the data lying around. That's why I'm demoing it here. It's not that I favor Brazil. If I had Columbus, South Carolina data, I would show that, but I don't have that. I apologize. Base map, world topo map from ArcGIS Online. We have police stations and we have a street network. You guys all see this, right? Now, what I wanted to show you is, right now I could be in the role of a GIS analyst, and I'm doing my 24/7 data analysis. I've already signed into ArcGIS Online, so if I go to File, you can see I'm already signed in, right? Go to ArcGIS Online here, and you'll see my organizational account. Project Management Group, go to My Groups, you guys see that. And my maps and data, they're all listed. Now I want to show you how, as an analyst, I can take advantage of ArcGIS Online. And by the way, ever since user conference last year, we made this announcement called the desktop entitlement. In other words, if you have a copy of ArcGIS Desktop, Jack has basically said you get a free named user login for ArcGIS Online or Portal for ArcGIS. It's totally up to you. So if you have 5 copies of Desktop in your organization, you get 5 named users. Just let you know. Something you may not be aware of is this. We have this very cool world traffic service, which we added last year. Coverages the entire world, updated, my understanding is every 5 minutes. Shows live traffic data. So just to make it a little less confusing, I'm going to strip out the world topo map, strip out the streets, and you guys can see this, right? I'll leave the streets on, and if I zoom in, you can see that as I zoom in, the resolution of this world live traffic service will then update. Zoom in a little more. So you can see that there is some inconsistency between the street network that I have and the live traffic service. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. Now what I want to do next is, as an analyst, with an ArcGIS Online named user account, I can take advantage of some functionality that's available to me in ArcGIS Online. For example, we have some pre-made geoprocessing services available to you. So an analysis that I might do, for example, I'm just going to hide this, is I may want to, classic GIS 101 problem, where should I locate a new police station, right? And I have all these police stations here, so I might want to generate a service area. So I'll double click this, and what I'm going to do next is pick my police stations, and I'll calculate some response time. So let's say 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes response time. Under advanced analysis now, away from facility. Where is it here? Geographically local. Here it is, time of day. I can choose 1:01 p.m. My clock, by the way, is on Pacific Standard Time. No smoke and mirrors here. But I'll do 4:03. Well, I want to do live, so I'm just going to do live. Okay. Today, 10th, hit OK. It's going to incorporate that live traffic service as part of my analysis. All right. And then the last thing I want to do is I'm going to minimize this. What are my barriers? Oh no, sorry. I want to go to my output. And I'm going to merge my polygons, merge my break value. And I'll hit OK. So by doing that, what I've done is basically said, I'm going to execute that analysis, and I'm going to basically run this operation in the cloud, inside ArcGIS, online, and it'll do the number crunch and spit it back to me. Okay, it's working, it's working. Hopefully the demo will run. Sometimes, what happened? Did I forget an input? Of course. Of course. Okay. I swear it was working like half an hour ago. Okay, and see the cursor, it's spinning. Any questions while we wait?
You don't need business analysts to do that anymore? Because you used to have to use it.
No, I don't think you should need business analysts. And I don't know why it's in this loop. Okay, I'm just going to close our map.
Don't even tell me it's never happened to you.
Alright, so I'm signed in, okay. Service area. Police stations. Okay. Okay, it works. Thank you. See, it's always live. There's no smoke and mirrors here. Thanks, Sean. Okay, so here we go. Okay, service area polygons. Yeah, the internet, I don't know, something with, anyways, I apologize for that delay. Point is, I'm a GIS professional, pulling and retrieving resources from ArcGIS Online. I input some parameters, have the tool run in ArcGIS Online, pull the result back, right? That result is now stored in memory. And what I want to emphasize to you is this idea of sharing integration. Now as a GIS analyst, maybe I want to share this result with other people in my organization, which I can do. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to remove these layers, remove the police stations, and this is in memory. I'm going to go to File, Share As, a service. Publish a service. Remember, I've already signed into my ArcGIS Online organizational account, and what I can do is this. Publish to my hosted services in my ArcGIS Online organizational account. And I'll call this Police Response Areas. Continue. Okay. And I could put some descriptions. We're all good about metadata. I know we're all religious about metadata. Very well, right? But I will. I'll just tag it to Police Service Area. Do my analysis. Hi, I have a base map in here, so let me remove that. Okay. Redo my analysis. Oops, is it still there? Thought I took this out. Remove layer. Okay, no problems. I'm now going to publish it. You see that? No warnings, right? Or no errors. Publish. Now what I'm doing is this. I'm taking the result that's stored in memory in ArcMap, taking it and pushing it out into the cloud, into my ArcGIS Online organizational account. Okay? That's key. The point is I'm storing it in this space. In this case, I am storing data in the cloud. Because I'm taking content from here and publishing it up there. But I don't have to do that. Remember that pattern I showed you? Remember this? Right? I am doing this. I'm making a hosted service, right? That's what I'm doing here. So I got that little list, that little ding. Come on. I'm not going to make it. I'm going to make it a feature service. It's going to be quick. Feature service. Analyze. Okay. So while it's publishing, I'm going to move on to the next stage of my demo. I've shown you how, as a GIS analyst, I can use desktop and take advantage of ArcGIS Online. A bit with the little snafu there, but I'll blame that on the internet. I don't know what happened. Next, I could be someone in another department in my organization who knows nothing about GIS. I'm using Excel. So here we go. Publish is successful. You guys see that? I just want to make sure no one's saying I'm pulling a fast one. Now I'm in Excel. Using my same police station analogy, maybe I'm an analyst working for the police. I don't do mapping. What you're looking at here is an Excel spreadsheet showing the crime reports for the first quarter of 2013 in the city of São Paulo. Okay? It's all here. And what I can do is I can also be a participant in the WebGIS, ArcGIS Online ecosystem, right? I've already signed into ArcGIS Online. You can see it here. I can insert a map. Think of this as conceptually analogous to inserting a chart or a graph in Excel. It's an element inside my Excel spreadsheet. It gets saved within my Excel file. Okay? Sign in. I can search. And let me look in my organization. What did I call it? I called it police, right? Police. Let me check on the police tag here. Here we go. Police Response Service Area. That's the one I published this morning. This is the one I just published, right? Police Response Service Area. And I can add it. Here it is. So right away, as a non-GIS analyst, I've grabbed data that the GIS analyst shared with me in ArcGIS Online. Everyone with me? Okay, I have this. I could also look for the police stations, which I have as a service. But what I can do, what's really important, is this. I can now do some GIS work. I can tell the records here, excuse me, and choose geocode, add Excel data. Okay. I'm going to geocode based on address, hit next. Choose one country, in this case Brazil. It auto detects the address format, right? Hit add. And now what it's going to do, there's about 3,000 records here. It's going to take these records, push them up to ArcGIS Online, and apply them against the locator service in ArcGIS Online, return the results. It's going to take like a minute or two. There's 3,000 records. Notice initially all the points got added, but then because there's over 3,000 records displayed based on my view access, it's clustering them, right? So you guys get that flaring effect. You guys see that? Usually people are impressed, but you guys are not like impressed. It's processing. Okay, it's processing. And then I have the option. I can say, cool, I like this. I could save my Excel file. All of this information is saved in my Excel file, right? Or, when I'm done, I can take these geocoded results and then push them back into the cloud. Does everyone see that? So again, the WebGIS pattern, that idea of collaboration. I could be in the insurance department of my organization. I know nothing about the web map. Someone could email me and say, hey, just search for this web map or find this web map with this data layer, and you can start using it. Does that make sense? And the last piece I want to show, I think I have time for that, is once this is done geocoding, bear with me, I can go back to ArcGIS Online and then take these different pieces of data that different members of my organization all shared within ArcGIS Online and mash it up, right? Okay, so 3332, all geocoded, right? I can then click Share Layer, right? Call it Prime Data 2013 Q1. I can share it with different groups. So I'll just put everyone. Right now it's going to take that data and, again, push it back to ArcGIS Online. It might take a minute or two. But what I could do next is, could be a GIS analyst, could be a GIS manager, could be someone in your organization that knows a little bit about GIS but may or may not be the expert. He or she could sign in to ArcGIS Online, and let me just, again, I'm always about making sure people understand I'm on the level here, okay? I'm in ArcGIS.com. I'm not signed in. You guys see that, right? This is the Esri view of ArcGIS.com. As soon as I sign in, I now log into my organization's account. So now this is my organizational view, right? This is where I get that custom look and feel. I can modify the home page, the banner, look at my different projects, etc., right? But I can go to the map viewer. And this is where I can start to author those web maps, start to mash up all those different resources of data. So what do I have? Well, let me go to add and I'll search for layers. Within my organization, I'll just type in police. Not within my map area. Let me try that again. Okay, so here we go. I have those service response areas. This is what I initially ran in ArcMap. You guys see that? Right, here's that base map again. And they should be up. That's unusual.
That's a network problem, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's it. Let me do this. I'll go to my content. That's very odd. I've never seen that happen, ever. Oh, that was a joke. Police response area. Oh, not share. Police. Let me do this. Service information file. Features. Here we go. Let me share this with everyone. And just to make sure I can see it. So sharing. We're all about sharing and collaboration. I'll click on the item description. And then I'll put this in the map. Here we go. And then, of course, I can go back to Excel. Am I done sharing? I didn't get the little thing yet. I think it worked. Let me see if I can add search for layers. And I'm going to look for crime. That's what I call it, right? Crime data, Q1 features. See that? All right, here we go. Too many features. Okay, that's okay. That's expected. That's expected. Derek needs to practice his demos more, but I'm all of it on the fly. You guys get the idea, though, right? I mean, I have data here. I have data on my machine as a professional. Do an analysis, push it to the web. I'm somebody else using Excel. Pull the service area map. Service area web service. Do some geocoding. Push those geocoding results back to the web, right? Now I'm a third person grabbing those two results that are stored online, and I can save a web map. So I'm going to save as. Call this Sao Paulo crime map. Crime Sao Paulo. Save the web map. Have I saved this data again twice? No. All I've saved is that JSON file referencing these services, right? But here's where it gets really powerful. I could email someone this URL in an email, and if he or she clicks on the link in their desktop, it'll open this up. I could send someone this link on their iPhone, and if they have the ArcGIS for iOS app, this will open up. I could give it to someone with a tablet, JavaScript application, FlexView, whatever. It'll open. Very cool. And of course, before I bury myself in a bigger hole, I could go in here and configure things like pop-ups, symbology. All of that will get pushed back and honored to all these clients. Does everyone see that? That was really, really powerful, right? Lastly, I could hit share, and as soon as I share with everybody, let's say I share with everyone, I can make a web application. So I'm going to update these layers because they haven't been shared publicly, but I'll hit sharing. What I could do is say, you know what, this web app is fine, but I want to add some custom functionality. I want to make a custom website with it. Well, I can do two things. I can take the code for that web map and embed it in a web page. I'm sure you've seen that demo before. Or I could make web applications. So here, we have these templates, right? 20 different templates, I think, 2022. And I can populate a different web application with this data. Does that make sense? So as a non-developer, I am empowered to make these out-of-the-box solutions. And we have something coming. It's going to be in beta at Dev Summit, that's next month, and final by user conference called the ArcGIS Web App Builder. We have 10 minutes. Want to demo that? Want to see this? How many people here are familiar with the ArcGIS viewer for Flex? Few of you, right? I can build a website without writing any code using this little configurable viewer here. This requires the Adobe Flash plugin to run in your web browser, which in 99% of the cases it's already built in. But what I do is I'll say, well, I'll make a new application, I'll call it test2, it makes these files, and I can say what data do I want, what functionality do I want, how do I want to look, etc. Right? And I'm going to hit. Now, this is based on Flex, which requires a plugin technology. Some organizations are not cool with that. So we have something else, and this is like pre-beta software. So what I'm showing you now is not part of the demo. I'm just activating it, so bear with me. Will obviously make the user experience much nicer when we go to find it. Just you can stop the video now here or something, I don't know. This is not part of the demo. I'm just getting something running here. But this is the app. Whoops, that's not it. Web App Builder. This is a JavaScript API / HTML5 based solution, which will allow you to quickly and easily build a website for your web maps without running code. Again, this is a pre-beta. Like, honestly, this is a daily build. This is a January 28th build that I pulled off the wire internally. But I can say, so the UI is not done. So I don't want anyone to say, oh, this sucks, because I totally... We will support 2D and 3D web services, which are coming in the next release. And I'll just call this Demo Viewer. In my description, hit OK. Here we go. Here's my preview window, right? I can change the look and feel. You can see that, where my buttons are. We'll have multiple themes where, again, this is daily build. But I can go with the first one and maybe make it green. I can also find data content. Again, the preview's not done, daily build, right? But I can click here and add my own data, so I can sign in and view my content. Let me sign in here. And I'm going to pull a web map that I have, all right, like this one here. Marks and open spaces, hit OK. Auto-populates, you guys see that? This is Oslo, Norway. Then I can say, well, what functionality do I want? So I go to the widget pool and I can add a bunch of widgets. Think of these as analogous to Lego blocks. Every single widget does a piece of custom code, does some custom functionality like a bookmark. I add that, maybe the measure tool. I'm picking those because I know I can demo those without having any errors. Right? Where is it? Hit OK. Add to my interface. I can change the title, right? So I can call this Park and Green Space Viewer. And I'll say City of Oslo. Notice the live preview up here. This is pretty cool. That's going to get fixed, I promise. Change the icon. Hit save. This obviously is pre-beta. We're going to clean that up for sure. And here's my app. Okay. It's been pre-populated with some pieces of data, so I can see my legend here. I can see my layer list, open it up and see what's in that service, change this. All of this, I promise, will get finished, cleaned up. So don't think that this is how it is. And then I can have search, my measurement tool. I guess I didn't add that bookmark properly. Let's identify. Let me try that. Here we go. Okay. But this is what's really cool. Right now I'm in the web browser view, but I can do this. And it's a resolute, see?
Wow.
You see these buttons up here?
Yep. Nice.
Responsive design. The team outdid themselves. Oh, again, beta. But watch, let me just show you. If I go back, themes, preview mode, we're going to have it set up when the preview's not working now. That's interesting. You should see the map here in preview, but we're going to have it set up so that you'll be able to pre-configure. Okay, this is cool. What does this mean? I'm not a developer. My boss tells me to build a website. Sure, I can do that. It's going to take me 2 days. I tell them it's going to take me 2 days. I use this. I build it in 5 minutes. I take the other 2 days off. I come back, look at it. I slaved away and built this fancy website for you, right? And then my manager says, hey, I want it to go on an iPad. No problem. I open it here and it'll deploy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it follows that same pattern that we talked about in here. Very, very cool. This is why I get excited, right? Yeah. Beta next month. Final release by user conference. So remember that list of tools I showed you? Obviously, all 20 tools may or may not be there by final release, depending on how much time we have. I'm just letting you know. This is something to get excited about, for sure. All right, I am almost out of time. I'm almost done. So ArcGIS Online, we talked about that. I don't have to talk about this, right? So demo, I was in our map, viewed the live service, ran that GP tool, right? Created the service areas, pushed it back to ArcGIS Online. I then was an Excel analyst, not a GIS expert, pulled that service area, geocoded my table of records, and then pushed those back to ArcGIS Online. You saw that too. And then I'm a manager. Took those different resources, made a web map. We know the power of the web map, and then I built a web app from it. You saw this, right? So here are the advantages, right? You use your existing GIS resources. If you have a website or a solution available now, you can use it in ArcGIS Online. Simply add a reference to it. You don't have to blow it away. It's still useful. It still has life. Controlled collaboration and sharing, you saw that. Integrate with your existing business systems. I bet you someone in your organization is running Excel or SharePoint or something to that effect. You can bring your maps to them. All they have to do is sign in. And then, of course, extends the reach of your GIS resources. So, tips on how to implement WebGIS. Obviously, you want to have a strategy, right? You want to make sure you have the right groups, talk to your different stakeholders, make sure they understand the power. Do a demo, like me. You know, and it's going to be really easy. Just say, hey, think about how many times you get asked by Department X to make a map of something. Can you make a map of that something and enable it so that the people can help themselves and get that map so they don't bother you? That could be your first quick win. No one's, I mean, that bothers on a good word. Politely ask you, you know, and this is getting recorded, so, all right? All right, so the key thing is stay focused on the final information product. I showed you some quick fancy demos, and I'm all about the technology, but really it's about what can your end users benefit from? Like that parks viewer, right? Or in this case, for a bank, and bank people, what do they care about? Money. You know, sales versus demand. It might look nice, but can they see it on their iPad? Can they see it on their smartphone? That's where it becomes powerful. Right? So maps everywhere, bring the maps to them. This is, I can see that portal should be lowercase p, because we know that portal means online or portal for ArcGIS. The WebGIS launch kits, if you are going to deploy portal for ArcGIS by yourself, we recommend that you bring Esri along to help you get set up and configured. The installation is honestly very easy, but it's more in terms of having Esri be your facilitator as you navigate the politics of different organizations, right? To talk about who has access to what. Okay, talked about the evolution of GIS technology, talked about the ArcGIS. We had a whiteboard discussion, right? Not a marketing discussion. Whiteboard discussion on the ArcGIS platform. We know about the WebGIS pattern, software as a service, on premises, and I did a demo. Thank you guys very much. Sorry about the delay with the demo there. Any questions?
Can you, again, the difference a little bit between when you had the beta version of the web app you configure and make your own, the difference from that and how you can make web map applications in ArcGIS Online? I didn't understand why. You already have some in there already. Why you can pick different templates?
Sure.
Can you create legends?
John's question is this. Right now we have this today. This allows you to take a web map and you can hydrate one of 20 different templates. But the configuration between the templates is limited. Basically, people have said, this template has function X, this has function Y, why can't I use this and this and make one template, right? Yes, we've heard that, we are listening. That's why we're going to have this, which will basically take all the tools into one spot. Anybody else? Yes.
Is that going to be filed in ArcGIS Online? Is that going to be an extension? Is that going to be Excel?
So it's pre-beta, so don't quote me on this. My understanding today is this will be built into ArcGIS Online. So you go in and then boom, it's there. You have the option to deploy the application, post it in online, or you can pull the code and post it on your own web server. I'm getting the hook. So, any other questions? Are we good? Yes, ma'am.
What if a lot of your users are using like Google Docs and Google Tables and Fusion Tables? How is that?
So the question is, do we support Google Doc or tables in ArcGIS Online? I want to say no, but I'm not 100%. I'm going to give you my card and we can follow up on that. I just don't know. I've never heard of any integration between the two, but maybe. Are we good? Ready for the big party? Not that I'm endorsing alcohol in any way. Not that you need alcohol to have a good time either. Water's good. Are we all good? All right, thank you guys very much.